Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to part 2 of John Conteh versus Les Stevens. We are picking up in round number 6. We talked a lot about in the first part about John Conteh's lead hand, his left hand, the way he jabs, the way he steps, his footwork. We're going to see a little bit more of his right hands that he didn't throw much of, but he did still throw some. Here it's his classic it's not his classic, but I talked about this in part 1, his double jab that he pumps out from close range. Boom, boom. We said that his jab comes up on an upwards angle. So an upwards trajectory like this, it's knocking the head of Les Stevens' head back. The way he steps with his right foot when he slips to the left, he's not doing it here, but we'll see, and I'll point it out again just as a reminder from part 1. There's a right hand. Let's see how he throws his right hand. Because like I said, lead-handed fighters or lead-hand dominant fighters, they struggle with landing the backhand. Let's see how he lands it. So he's already on his toes back here. He looks to be still off balance. Like I said, his back foot looks to be behind his lead foot. But it looks like Les Stevens is the one that reached in maybe with the jab, yeah. And then he gets him with that right hand. So he didn't throw a lot of right hands, but he did land them in this fight, especially in the later rounds. Which is a little bit different for most lead hand dominant fighters. They don't really land the right hand that much. It is easier to land the right hand when someone's moving in on you because they're closing the distance for you, opposed to you trying to reach them. Now this is what I said about his footwork. When he does that little slip to the left that we talked about in part 1, he also does a little step to the left with his right foot, as you can see right there. Boom. I talked about the cons of this one, the positives and the negatives of that move. The negatives is it keeps you off balance. See, you could see him right there again. I'm trying to think about the positives of this move. Maybe it's just a thing that he just did and he didn't know about. Or maybe what I'm thinking is, so I saw this while watching Rocky Marciano and this other Japanese fighter, I forgot his name, the really famous one. When they are stepping to the left, they step with their right foot first. Now I tried this on the heavy bag, and so you know when you bring this one in, now this one is ready to step into the side and up at the same time, and you're ready to throw a left hand off of it, like a left hook or a hard jab off of it. It's kind of like loading your lead foot. So you know when you say when a fighter, well I talked about this before, but when you bring up the back foot, you bring it up closer first and then you step in with the jab. I think I talked about that in this fight also. So this foot would move in here and then it would be loaded up and then you could really push off of it to throw the jab. Well, my guess is either instinctively or like he doesn't know he's doing it, or if he knows he's doing it, when he slips to the left and brings that right foot in, as you could see right here, I think if he steps to the side and up at the same time, like on an angle, his lead hand is pretty loaded up too, so he could step in with some power, but he's doing it from the side opposed to bringing it up straight in. That's what I could think of as the only positive. Like right there, you could kind of see it. He's gonna step in right here, boom, and then he's gonna step in with his left. No, he took a couple steps before he did that. Scratch that. But I'm trying to think why he's doing it. There must be a reason, or there might not be a reason at all. Might just be something that he did while slipping to feel better. There's a few jabs right there, really pumping them out. But I like his little feints that he does with his head. Always, he's really shifty. Although he does look like he's standing still from afar. When you watch the close-up shots, he is really making small movements all the time like that. So he's not very still. Now, this is something that he's done a lot of. I talk about this when he brings up the back foot actually with the double jab, but here what he does is he throws a jab, he throws it to the hands of his opponent, so he's not thinking about landing this punch. He's just throwing it and seeing the reaction he gets back. Les Stevens is going to come back with a jab right here. He's going to duck. And then he's open for the real jab, which is that one. So he's done this a few times in this fight, where he throws a half jab first, and then boom, he comes back with the second one. Now, every time he's done this, he's not waited for the opponent's jab back every time and then jab back. He's just jabbed half a jab and then jabbed the real one right away sometimes. But in this one, he slipped and then came back with a jab. Nice move out to the out of the corner right there. He ties up Les Stevens pretty good when they're almost in range for the short distance fighting. I haven't seen too much inside work from him. I'll say that. Maybe we'll see a little bit later on, but not as of now. He's kept his distance with his jab pretty well, and he ties him up on the inside. We did see the left hand to the body, but that was more like mid-range, like in this range right here. But you could see it's pretty shifty. Nice right hand on the inside right there. So most of the right hands he's landing is when Les Stevens is coming to him. I think Les Stevens was a replacement here, maybe. I'm not too sure. I think they said that. Nice double jab right there. Nice pump and jab right there. He really pumps those jabs out. I think he's left-handed. I think so, because most guys that fight really well with their lead hand are usually switched stances or naturally left-handed. There's some guys that fight southpaw. I think Lomachenko might be one of them. I think so. I know in Cuba they make a lot of guys fight southpaws just because it's a harder style to fight, even though they're right-handed. There's that pumping jab again. And you could see him keeping away the whole fight. He's keeping away the bigger guy with just his jab. That's how advantageous a good. Oh, that's another big word for me. Advantageous. Advantageous jab is to a smaller and bigger fighter. The smaller fighter is keeping away the bigger fighter with his jabs. Usually it's the other way around. It's the bigger guy keeping the smaller guy away with the jab. But that just shows you like the diversity of the jab. No matter what size you are, if you have a good jab, it could serve you very well. There he ties him up on the inside. Like I said, we haven't seen too much inside work from him yet. I think we might see at the end of the fight or towards the end in the last rounds. Nice jab right there again. He looks to be strong because he's pushing and holding the Les Stevens, and he doesn't seem to be like overly getting tired. Les Stevens is obviously the bigger guy here. Yeah, this fight's at heavyweight, although I think Conteh went down to light heavyweight and then he went back to heavyweight. I think he started heavyweight, went down and went up. I think so. He's not a big heavyweight. He is pretty jacked, but he's not a big heavyweight. Nice jab from Les Stevens right there. Nice right hand right there. Let's see if it missed or if it hit. So here Les Stevens isn't moving in. He's the one, he's kind of on the outside. So maybe just grazed him. I don't think it connected clean, because Les Stevens came back right away. There's a nice two hooks to the body. He's thrown this a couple times, like I said, off that slip to the left right here. Kind of like Julio Cesar Chavez, how he did it, but he did it a lot different. He was a lot more squared than having his feet behind each other or in line. But we said that he could come up with the uppercut to the body, with the hook, with the jab, like 4 or 5 different punches you could throw just from this slip. Conteh here, he's done all of them already. I talked about them in the first part. Here he comes with the body shot, beautiful body shot, and then comes in with the left hook. Nice left hook right there. So although Conteh's a shorter guy, he's fighting like the taller guy almost. He's the one that's trying to keep the fight at a jab's distance and holding when things get in close. Usually it's the other way around. It'd be John Conteh trying to get in on the inside and fighting on the inside, but he doesn't seem to be doing that. This is one of my favorite punches of his. So he does that little slip, that little foot step, the little step with the right. Watch his head and watch his right foot. He's going to slip and step. And then he's going to come in with like a uppercut slash jab, kind of like an up jab. Jab into the body. And you can still see he's very shifty with his upper body. Nice pump and double jabs right there. Again with the double jab, again with the jab. He catches the jabs right here, catches 2 of them, and then he keeps his right hand across his face to catch the right hand, but the right hand kind of comes over of his right hand, gets caught with the right and the left uppercut, but he stopped the jabs from coming in. Nice right hand from Les Stevens. Nice tight uppercut. Nice jab again. Right hand missed. He's just pumping that jab out. If your jab gets really tired when you use it, you got to start going on the heavy bag and really jabbing through the bag and working it rounds after rounds, 5 rounds with just the jab, and really working it to get this level of consistency with your jab and usage out of it. If you're not, it's going to get really tired. Nice left hook. His punches are so short, but it looks like he has a lot of power behind these short punches, even though he's being held from behind the back. He just drives that left hook in and gets under the neck of Les Stevens. Now, like I said in part 1, these guys were sparring partners before, so they don't have that much bad blood between them. It's just a fight. But they know each other, I think, pretty well. They used to spar in the amateurs and in the pros. There's a right hand. I want to show you guys his footwork when he throws the right hand. We can't really see right now because it's just getting his upper body. Now, this is something I talked about in the first part, I think, or on Instagram when I studied this fight. When he jabbed, he did come up on his toes. So you're going to see right here. Watch his back foot. He's already on his toes, which is normal. But watch his left foot. It's flat on the ground right here. You could see it flat. When he jabs, he drives the hips, like I said. So he throws his jab basically like a power punch, like I said in part 1, and he twists his body into it. This is something that I like doing or teaching at times, but not every time you throw the jab, because it does leave you a little bit off balance and too committed to the jab. So the reason I like the jab is because it's a low commitment punch. You could just stick it out. But when you do twist your body into it and your hips and your shoulders, it does become a more committed punch. So I don't like doing it all the time because counters, like the right hand, it makes you a little bit slower. So watch his hips and watch his foot. He's going to move into his jab. His right shoulder is going to get twisted back. You see how his hips, now we see the side of his hips. Before it was like this, and then he's going to twist into it. Now he's up on his toes. You remember the left foot was flat on the ground. The right foot's already high up, but that's normal. But the left foot is low. Now it's going to get high up. He's on his toes right here. And this is what makes this dangerous, is that right hand that comes over the top. And there he loses his mouthpiece. So I do like twisting into the jab at times, but after you've, in between, I like to throw more non-committed jabs, because a committed jab, like I said, leaves you open for that counter right hand, because you're too committed, and when you're too committed, you spend more time, which makes the counter easier to land for your opponent. When you throw flicking jabs that you're not committed to, you could easily bring them back. Now, this is what I like. This is the best part about the fight. He got caught with that big right hand, but now he's going to come back with his own. And you can see, because he's so off balance with his right foot behind his lead foot, you can't really throw the right hand from this position that well. And this is what I want to show you guys. Although you can't really see his feet, watch his hips and watch his right leg. You could see that he steps forward with it. So he switches into a southpaw stance basically. And then he throws it like a right hook almost. Right on top of the head, and knocks Les Stevens down. I think that right hand might have woken him up a little bit. Nice right uppercut on the inside. So he does know how to throw short punches, but he's just not fighting on the inside. He likes, I guess, to be more on the outside or mid-range. Now it's going to turn into a little bit of a wrestling match. See, there's another short left hook, but he's tying him up on the inside, trying to get that distance. Nice little uppercuts on the inside from both fighters. Using his head a little bit, I guess. Missing with that left hook. Now Les Stevens is the one that's bullying in, kind of, and trying to tie him up. Trying to wrestle him. Whoop. There we go. Round number 9. Nice double jab. I think a right uppercut to his body would be really good when he's throwing those double jabs, especially from this distance, and how he has a lot of weight on his left foot, like here. I don't know how you would do it, but a right uppercut to the body on the other side of his body would land pretty well, because he commits to the double jab a lot. We're going to see something. I just saw it, but I forgot what it was. Boom, boom, boom. There's another right hand. There's another jab. And you could see most of the fight, I would say 99.9% of the fight, he's moving to his left. I like this move right here. This is one of my favorite moves that I tell you guys all the time about in the lessons. Flick the jab, come up with the left hook, boom, boom, but the left hook missed because Les Stevens leaned in. I like that flicking fake jab with the left hook, fake jab with the uppercut, and then a real jab behind it. He has a cut under his eye. Nice right hand. Oh, nice left hook. Boom. So you could see he could throw from really awkward angles. So I don't think balance is a problem from him, because we've seen him throw punches from very awkward angles. Like right here, there's no reason you should have power on that shot from there, or be able to throw a good shot from there. As you get hit, but he still gets a good punch in. So he's a pretty awkward guy. Although he does look textbook with his jabs, he does land from awkward angles. And hitting him doesn't seem to deter him from following through with the punch. There you could see when Les Stevens isn't coming in and he tries to throw the right hand. This is the best example I could tell you of why it's so awkward for a lead-handed fighter to throw the right hand. First, he makes space with his left foot, so he's going to step over here. Boom. And then he's going to step in with that right foot. Boom. And he's just falling through as well as following through. So if Les Stevens was a little bit awake here and caught him with a right uppercut, the fight might have been over, because his whole body weight, no balance at all at this point. Boom. All of that timing. Les Stevens, if he landed a right uppercut at that time, he would have caught him. But Conteh doesn't throw too many right hands, so it's hard to time that move because he's not doing it constantly. So it's hard to like see it, and then counter it. It just happens all of a sudden every couple minutes, so you can't really time it. You'd have to let him build confidence in his right hand so he does throw it a lot more and then start trying to counter it. Nice shot right there. Boom. Bang. Snap his head back. That's my favorite shot of his, I think. As well as the hook to the body, then followed by a hook to the head. Now, I did watch him versus Yakub Lopez, I think his name is, from Sacramento, I think. He did throw some elbows when the ref wasn't looking, so he's not the cleanest of fighters, but he definitely, I won't call him a dirty fighter. I haven't seen him do that too much here. Maybe he picked that up later in his career, but in that fight, he definitely threw some elbows, like shooting a right hand but landing an elbow instead. There, he's trying to hit him with his palm. If you saw, this is a punch my coach used to tell me about, is when the guy's like has his head down, don't throw an uppercut, hit them with the palm. It's a dirty move, but you kind of hit them with your palm and you lift their head up and you get the laces on their face too. I think the ref saw that though. He's going to call him out on that. Yeah. There goes for what I was saying about him not being a dirty fighter. There's that little step. I think I pointed this. I definitely pointed this out on Instagram, but I might have pointed this out on the first part. He does do a little hop to the left to line up his right hand. Boom. So another thing that I said, he's an awkward fighter, so he's gonna do this little hop to the left. Well, bang. So usually what you would do is step with the left foot to the left, step with the right foot, and then come in with the right hand. But he did this in the first round, I think. Yeah, in the first round. Now he's doing it in the 9th round. So a little hop to the left, bang with the right hand. Again, he didn't do this too often, so it's hard to time him. Even though he is off balance when he does that, like when he led with the right hand. It's hard to time him because he like I only saw him do this move like twice, and it was 8 rounds apart. See, Les Stevens is coming in now. Now it's easier to land that right hand because he doesn't have to reach in for it. Throws another. Now he's trying to work on the inside. And that's it for round 9. John Conteh. I think he's half Irish. John Conteh. Because I searched him up and I got a website that said like mixed UK athletes or something, which is a pretty weird website. But I think he might have been half Irish. That explains his toughness. There's another good right hand right here. Boom. And you could see how he steps through with that right hand. Like I said, it's really hard for him to throw a right hand just from his stance. He really has to step through with it. Now he's really taking it to Les Stevens. Still not working on the inside. Boom. Another right hand. Comes up with the uppercut. Both fighters, I think, are tying up each other. I don't think one is trying to hold more than the other. Nice double jab right there. Nice right hand over the top. Nice right hand again. There goes that. This is what I was telling you guys about his fight with Yakub Lopez. I think he's trying to land the left hook, but definitely an elbow landed right there. And you'll see that with a lot of smaller fighters, when they gotta fight bigger guys, they are gonna have those dirtier tricks in their arsenal, because the punches alone isn't gonna win them the fight. So as an equalizer, they kind of use that left or those dirty tricks. Floyd Mayweather is a good example of that. Even though he didn't fight bigger guys, when he fought tougher guys, or anybody, he did use his elbows. Holyfield, when he fought heavyweights, that left hook just missed. But by Les Stevens already moving back. It looked like connected, and then he was in place for that right hand. I've really been watching a lot of UK fights recently. I really like their no nonsense, just fighting. Nice right hand right there. I like their rings. Like I said this in another study of Mike McCollum versus Michael Watson. Nice jab, left hook right there. They just no ads on the canvas. Nice right uppercut. Their ropes are pretty thin. It just looks like they're there to fight. They're not there to like sell you a product, which I'm a big fan of. Not sure how they are right now. There's probably ads now, but back then it was just a clear canvas, and usually the same colored gloves, same brand gloves, and they're just there to fight. There goes that little right hand again where he steps through with it, like I said. Nice little feint to the left, nice little feint down. He already won the fight, but he's still fighting. Jumping in with that hook, but Les Stevens comes in close. Tries that left hook again. You're going to see something pretty funny at the end of the fight. There he is mixing it up on the inside a little bit more. Like I said, he was going to do it at the end of the fight, but he didn't do this type of inside work in the beginning. He just held and went back to mid-range or long range. Nice double jab right hand. I think it was a triple jab. Tries to come in with the uppercut. I think he's trying to go in for the knockout, although he already won the fight. He slaps him. No, like I said, these guys, I don't know if they're friends, but they're sparring partners. That, in a different scenario, that would have started another fight after the fight was done. That's the cleanest punch I think Les Stevens probably landed on him. And that's UK fighting for you. And that's it, yeah. Very awkward fighter, although he looks textbook because of his jab. He's a very awkward fighter, just the things he did with his feet. Very off balance, but he made it work for him. He kind of reminds me of, like, say, Muhammad Ali, the way Muhammad Ali did a lot of things wrong technically, but still was very, very good. His slipping to the left with his step behind him reminds me a little bit of Julio Cesar Chavez, although Chavez did the same type of movements, but he did it from a more squared stance where he had a lot more balance, so when he got hit, he barely got dropped throughout his, I don't know, 100-fight career. Very strong jab. I liked his different arsenal with the lead hand, the uppercuts, the up jabs, the left hooks, the left to the body. Very good fight. Les Stevens, very game. And yeah, that's it for today. So I made a post saying that I'm going to start saying, like, making video lessons of how to fight like this fighter. So I think I already know how fighters fight because I've watched them so much, but I need a refresher for each fight. So what I think I'm going to do is do a study of a fighter and then put the lesson of how to fight like him after, just so I could refresh my mind and write down the main points. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.